So our two things that we're talking about today is we're going to recap the sugar, why we shouldn't do sugar, and then we're also going to recap or talk about the effects of wheat on our body. So we'll be covering that, so don't panic. I'm not going to take all your good stuff away from you, but I do want to encourage you to know that there's other healthy alternatives out there that you can still have your sweet and your cake and eat it too, okay, without feeling guilty, and that's the main thing. I'm not about deprivation. I'm not about starving you. I'm about helping you to recreate the ideas about how you can get a little bit of sweetness or how you can get your breads and the things that we crave and seem to gravitate to. I will literally tell you I've been wheat-free for about a year and a half now. I don't eat any wheat products. I don't even do pasta. I make my own, and we're going to share about all that stuff and how easy it is. It's really not that complicated. All right? So if you're all ready to get started, we're going to go ahead and come on back here and get started. And before we do that, let's just go in a real quick word of prayer and just ask God to be with us today. So, dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you and we thank you. We thank you for our bodies. We thank you today that I have the opportunity to share my knowledge that through you and through others that have gone on before me to show me how we need to take care of our body, Lord, to glorify you. So, Lord, we just ask you to come in amongst our presence today, watch over us, protect us, and Lord, please guard my mouth. Make sure I say the right and appropriate things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a cooking demonstration today. I've already got some things that are already pre-made, but before we get to actually seeing and understanding all this part of it, I really want y'all to go ahead and take a look at your notes here. And on that very first page, hopefully y'all had this on the first page. Randy was having a little bit of problems back there, but the definition of a calorie equals the energy-producing potential in food. So why do you feel tired rather than energetic? Because you're eating the wrong foods. So there's certain foods that's actually going to be energy-building foods, and then there's going to be certain foods that actually are going to be foods that make us feel tired and lethargic. For an example, what happens after Thanksgiving meal? We feel pretty tired. We feel pretty lethargic. There's two reasons why. Number one, when you overeat, your stomach is only about this big. So when you take your fist and you put it right here, so imagine me swallowing foods and it's going down, and all my food is going into my stomach area right here, and then if I overeat, what's happening? It's stretching it out to capacity. Then we become very, very, very full feeling, and we feel like we need to take a nap. The reason we feel like we need to take a nap at that time, two things. All your blood has left the head, and basically you literally are on a food drunk. So all the blood has left the head, just enough to keep you functioning, but it's focused right here now. So if all the blood is focused on this, because it has to do what? To burn it, to tell each cell where to take that food and what to do with it. And when we overeat, most likely it's going to go where? Into the fat stores, and for a rainy day or an emergency day. All right. So the second thing, when you overeat on certain things like highly processed carbohydrates, whether it's coming from wheat, corn, sugar, any of those things can also cause you to feel very tired and lethargic, and you just want to take a nap. So, for example, if you ever ate a big plate of pasta, and after you eat that big plate of pasta, it's very calming. It's very tranquil. And so it will have a tendency to make you want to just fall asleep. That's why women especially gravitate towards pasta and breads and those kind of things, because it does calm our body down. But the effects of that is in fat stores. All right? So back in the day, if you're very, very athletic and you were getting ready for a marathon or really working out with weights and everything, they would tell you to eat a plate of spaghetti or a plate of pasta. Yes, there's energy producing things from that, but you have to immediately go into burning that to be able to burn it off. Most of us don't. After we eat a plate of pasta or breads or that sort of thing, what do? we vegetate. We just sit on the couch, we're on the computer, we're watching TV, you know, those kind of things. And so basically it's just going into fat stores. So because we're such a community of people that have setting down jobs, or we are in front of the computer a lot, we don't move as much. So we need to change the way we think about our foods and the way we eat. Okay, so I wanted to tell you that. So basically, every calorie is not equal. So there's fat-inducing calories and there's fat-burning calories. And so we're going to talk about that. Okay, so your body really needs fuel to perform. So we're on this, the body needs fuel, if you want to follow along with me. Every second, millions of reactions takes place to maintain health. Okay, food creates your heat, your muscles, your protein, RNAs, your hair, your nails, your enzymes, and bones. The fuel comes from the food and drink. In a nutshell, food equals human gasoline. Are you using sludge for fuel? All right? So when you look at a fine car and you're putting in a high-octane gas because it's a racing car, that's going to make sure that car performs perfectly, you know, well. But if you're putting in sludge in that car or cheaper gas, it's probably not, it's going to spit and sputter and putter. And that's the way most of us are. We're tired, we're lethargic, and that's because we're not eating properly. And we're also overloading on caffeine products too. So big time overloading. So no more sludge, and I'm going to show you what kind of foods I do want you to eat. Okay, number one, protein and energy. Amino acids are proteins, and the only way you can properly feed your muscles is through amino acids. Do we know where aminos come from? It's a protein, but what is a protein? Your meats, such as chicken, fish, and if you're going to eat red meat, we prefer you to eat grass-fed, no hormones, no antibiotics in your meat. You want it clean as possible. And if you're also going to eat red meat, we prefer you to do it maybe in the lunchtime versus the evening time, because it does take 72 hours for red meat to digest. So if you're going to bed with this huge steak on your belly, then your body is just so busy digesting this huge steak that it doesn't have time to repair the muscles and all the cells that it needs to repair at nighttime. And again, you know, people say, well, how often is too often for red meat? You know, our family's a big red meat eater, but I've cut back quite a bit. You know, maybe once or twice a week, you know, and that's the way I would leave it. Okay, iron also is a key role in many body functions: energy production, muscle contraction, brain function. Doesn't have to be anemic to have ill effects of deficiency. Common complaints: fatigue, hair loss, brittle nails, poor memory, insomnia, anxiety, and depression. And that comes from not getting the proper aminos and the proper iron. So we want to make sure we're getting plenty of protein in our body too. A lot of people try to replace sugar with aspartame. And aspartame comes in many forms. It comes in our sodas, it comes in that little pink packet, it comes in yogurts, it can come in seasonings, it can come in so many different forms that we're not even aware of it. And aspartame can cause many health deficiencies in your body. So let's talk about it. Serotonin is made with tryptophan. Proper serotonin production during daylight hours stimulates the production of melatonin during the nighttime, which secures deep sleep. Serotonin levels are lower in depressed individuals. The body gets serotonin and tryptophan from a healthy diet. Aspartame suppresses serotonin. So if you're already suffering with depression and you're sweetening everything with aspartame, then you're actually lowering your serotonin levels. So we have a lot of depressed people that are in bad moods. Have y'all noticed lately? I mean, just go out in the world and you see a lot of unhappy people. And it's sad. A lot of the reasons for it is because of the chemicals we're putting in our bodies. So here's some of the list. Aspartame can be found in all these different things. I want you guys to start reading your labels. If you do not do anything else or learn anything else from these events, start reading your labels. There's so many chemicals that are hidden in your labels that is amazing. Did you know that BHT and THBQ is actually butane that they spray on the linings of your like cracker packets or your cereal packets? They may say natural, no chemicals, no whatever, but then you see it has BHT or the THBQ. That's propane, butane, that they're actually spraying to preserve that so it doesn't go bad on you. So even if it's on the lining, it's still getting into your food. So those are some things you really want to be very cautious of when you're reading your labels. So, but this is definitely some foods I want y'all to check to make sure there's no aspartame in those foods that you're buying. So we're going to talk about eating less sugar. So how can we avoid sugar? You know, a lot of times some people say, well, I'm doing a fat-free diet, and I kind of shudder when they tell me they're doing a fat-free diet because it's really not healthy. God wants us to have the proper amount of fats. And coconut oil is really good, olive oil is really good, even natural organic creamy butters are really good, all right? Those kind of foods our body can assimilate and we can actually digest. Those kind of foods are actually good for the skin, the hair, the nails, so you want healthy fats, but you don't want things like Crisco, trans fats, hydrogenated oils, or vegetable oils. Those are the things you want to stay away from. All right, because those are the ones that also can cause inflammation in the body along with heart disease. And so we want to be sure you are aware of that. So you really start watching what you're doing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about fats in just a minute, but we want you to eat less sugar. Now sugar is a fat-free substance. Would you all agree? Because if you turn the label over, it's going to say fat-free. There is no fat in sugar. And they're like, but why can't I have my sweets? You know, it's fat-free. And the reason you can't is because sugar is also known as a fat store. So fat does not create fat. It's going to be a couple of other things we're going to talk about. Sugar and flour, wheat, things of this nature is what stores fat. Okay, so the obvious are avoid soda. We were just talking about that, how much 12-ounce glass of soda has 10 teaspoons of sugar in it. We are only supposed to have no more than 5 grams of sugar per meal, per snack. So say you eat 6 times a day, 3 meals, or excuse me, 5 times, 3 meals and 2 snacks, so that's about 5 times 5 is 25 grams of sugar for the whole day. And that is really all your body can assimilate at one time. Anything above 25 grams of sugar, it basically means it's going into fat stores. Okay? So avoid soda. Even your juices. If you guys are feeding your kids orange juices, apple juices, stuff of that nature, you really need to look at that label and see how much sugar you're actually ingesting into those children's body. There's a lot of sugar in natural apple juice and also orange juice. It's better to give them the apple itself or make some homemade applesauce and feed them that way. It's better to give them the orange versus the orange juice. There's just so many things from juices that are just not good. Have you ever noticed when somebody has a drop in blood sugar, what is the first thing they usually give them? They want to give them a big cup of orange juice. Why? Because it brings up their blood sugar immediately, okay? And that's not a bad thing if you need it in an emergency situation. But what I'm saying is when you're trying to get off the sugar and you don't want to be in fat stores anymore from sugar, then those are the things you really need to consider. Am I having too much juice? You need to eat the whole apple or the orange or pear, you know, things of this nature. There's also hidden sugar in our marinara sauce, salad dressings, ketchup, and what I don't like about ketchup, there's high corn fructose syrup in there. That's another hidden sugar. Anytime you eat fat-free, you're talking about they have to make it taste good, so how do they make it taste good? They put high corn fructose syrup in it and other additives that you're not aware of, and then before you know it, yeah, this one may not have any regular sugar in it, but it has, if you look, high corn fructose syrup, which is triple the sweetness as regular teaspoon of sugar. So they got it in there. You just got to look. And ketchup. How many times have our kids just pile on the ketchup to cover their eggs or chicken or whatever with it? I mean, there's a lot of high corn fructose in that. Even your Ensure and Pediasure coming from baby formulas have high corn fructose syrup in it and extra added sugar. So you want to be very, very careful with that. Substitute protein-rich snacks for seemingly harmless fare, like, sometimes we say, well, I'll have a bagel with fat-free cream cheese on it instead of a donut. How many of y'all think that's better? It's really not. Because if I gave you a donut and I gave you a bagel, your body's going to react in the same way as if this is sugar. So it don't matter. You might as well eat your donut if that's what you enjoy more, because you're still going to get that sugar in your body. So fat-free bagels and popcorn and pretzels are still fat-inducing, and that's because of the starch, and it creates a sugar effect on the body. Starch quickly breaks down into sugar. Fat-free pretzels equal higher on glycemic index than jelly beans. That's how high they are on its sugar index. Let's look at some of the things with glycemic index. Did you know that actually white bread is lower in glycemic than whole wheat bread is? Whole wheat bread, 2 slices of whole wheat bread is equal to 2 tablespoons of sugar just ingested. White bread actually has less sugar than wheat bread. So you think you're doing better, but you really aren't. Wheat cereal, 67 grams of equal sugar, and table sugar equals up to 52. I'm sure, sorry, not 67 grams, it's the glycemic index. So those are the numbers. Anything above 55 puts you definitely into fat stores when the glycemic index, when you're looking at the glycemic index. Even gluten-free rice cakes, 77 on the glycemic index. This is why when people go gluten-free and they grab a lot of packaged gluten-free items at the store, they still gain weight rather than lose weight. So going gluten-free is not necessarily the answer to not gaining weight. All right? So if you want to know more about that, we can talk more about that, but that's not too much on my subject today, but we'll go from here. So let's look, 4 grams of carbs, even starchy carbs, equals 1 teaspoon of sugar. Did you know that a small blizzard has 530 calories, but 83 grams of carbohydrates? Just one blizzard, a small one. That equals to 21 teaspoons of sugar. That's like me just taking out of the sugar bowl and putting into my blizzard ice cream 21 teaspoons of sugar. Potato chips, a 9-ounce bag of chips, because of the carbohydrates in it, the starch equals to 32 teaspoons of sugar by the time it's in your body ingested, because remember, your body doesn't know the difference between a bagel and a donut. It's still going to digest it just like a sugar. So that's where you have to be careful with even eating carbohydrates in that form. Could our food supply be part of the problem? In 1840, a person in the U.S. consumed only 2 teaspoons of sugar a day. So that's about 8 grams of sugar. As of 2009, that person consumes at least 63 teaspoons every day. Now, if somebody is drinking one 44-ounce big gulp or Sonic, whatever it is, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper's, 40 teaspoons of sugar in one of those big gulps. A lot of sugar. Okay, sugar in your blood. Option 1. So, we're eating smart. We're going to do Smart Start, 1 cup of milk, skim milk, and banana. Did you know that skim milk has more sugar in it than whole milk? Look at the label. You think you're doing better by eating fat-free, you might as well just go milk the cow and drink it straight from the cow, because that's a healthier form for you. So whole milk is actually better for you, and let me go 1 step further. Do organic, because organic doesn't have the hormones and the processing the way that it is. So really, if you got a cow in your backyard, you're better off. Go milk the cow, because it's a lot safer for you. So you got your cereal, 1 cup of milk, and a cut-up banana in there. One small banana has 45 grams of starches in it, so that's equal to 10 teaspoons of sugar. So if you're on a diabetic diet, one things that they tell you to do is cut that banana in half, because it's so full of natural sugar. Right? And your tropical fruits will be higher in sugar too, like mangoes, pineapples. I'm not saying those are bad, it's just they're higher in sugar. Okay, so for example, that breakfast right there was 472 calories, 105 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber, and 25 teaspoons of sugar in the blood, if you didn't add any sugar to the cereal. And then if you add sugar to the cereal, it's even going to be more. Are y'all starting to realize how much sugar is in what you think is healthy? So it really, y'all need to know this. Okay, so let's see for option 2. What if we had 2 eggs with 2 cups of mushrooms, peppers, and onions? And by the way, that's part of an alkaline diet. That would equal 190 calories compared to 472. Only 9 carbs and 3 grams of fiber and only 1.5 teaspoons of sugar in the blood. So I like that option a lot better. Then if you go to option 3, and if you was to eat the homemade donut recipe that I have, made with coconut flour, it's higher in calories a little bit, 217, but you have 7.4 carbs, so it's lower in carbs, higher in fiber, and less than 1 teaspoon of sugar in your bloodstream. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how can I get my yummy treats, not feel deprived, but yet still be able to eat the way I enjoy. We talked about fructose. Fructose is in everything. I won't cover that a whole lot, but other than, you got to realize when you eat a lot of fructose, it turns your liver into a fatty liver. And what that is stored energy around the liver. That makes your liver very toxic. And so again, fructose is definitely, not only is it fat inducing, but it's also very harmful for the liver. So that's where you want to be very, very careful on. It also increases blood pressure and gout. It has no effect on hunger hormone, ghrelin. It interferes with the brain's communication with your leptin, which suppresses your appetite. If you become leptin resistant, most likely you have ate so much fructose that the leptin finally just gives up and says, you know what, I can't tell the stomach you're full. I can't tell the brain you're full. So the leptin is in your stomach, and it sends a signal to the brain to say, we got food down here, but if you keep eating improperly, then you become leptin resistant. And then if your leptin is not working properly, then your brain don't know when to shut off eating. So a lot of obese people actually are leptin resistant. So what that means is they're overeating and they can't stop. That's basically what it boils down to. Okay, gluten. If you have, some people are very sensitive. Have you ever heard of so much celiac disease and IBS, Crohn's disease? All these things that are happening in our society these days has a lot to do with our gluten products. And gluten is in so many things, but we're going to talk about how we can overcome this. But some of the side effects of having gluten actually are headaches, depression, nerve damage, seizures, inflammation happens in the brain and the nervous system, which causes depression. Patients with symptoms involving the nervous system suffer from digestive problems. Gluten sensitivity interferes with protein absorption. The amino acid tryptophan becomes deficient because it blocks it. And then tryptophan is a protein in the brain responsible for feeling of well-being and relaxation. A deficiency equals depression and anxiety. So that's one of the things we want to be careful of on the gluten. Now, in wheat products, there is gluten. Let me just kind of share with you what happens with wheat products. And that's going to be my main focus today, is talking about how to replace your flour and gluten products with some other healthy alternatives that taste really yummy. But let's go over this really quick. Wheat equals opiates that cause withdrawal symptoms. When people cut wheat out of their lives, which is also flu-like, their tiredness, their crabby, and depression. So let's talk about opiates. Opiates is basically like a drug. And so let's say, and did y'all know, going back to sugar, did y'all know that sugar is only 1 atom away from being equal to cocaine in the chemistry in your brain? So what happens is, if someone is addicted to cocaine, it's the same way as if you're addicted to sugar. It has the same response in the brain. So when they did the CAT scans or the brain scans, when somebody was doing sugar and cocaine, the brain still reacted the same way on sugar as it did with cocaine. So, oh, I'm not addicted to drugs, I'm just addicted to sugar. And that's basically what most of us are. We're addicted to something. Okay, are you good during the week, then have cheat days on the weekends? It takes your body 4 to 6 days to get the withdrawal symptoms out before you feel amazing. But if you cheat every weekend and have that bread or that gluten product or that sugar, you get exposure symptoms again, which triggers it. How many, I know I'm guilty of this, how many of you ever said, I'm off the sugar, but if I have one piece of cake, it's going to trigger it again? It's like alcoholism. Just like if somebody's trying to break the habit of drugs or alcohol, and they heal their body of it, and then they fall off the wagon, as they say, then they start ingesting it again, what happens? It triggers that addiction all over again. So it's going to be the same way. Your addictions are going to be triggered all over again, whether it's sugar or wheat products. And then you're going to start having those symptoms, and then you feel like you just got to have it. Every time you cheat, the wheat increases dopamine, just like heroin. We just spoke of that. This is why people complain of low-carb diets and the lack of energy. To prove that problem, a new weight loss drug that is a version of something heroin addicts take to lessen the withdrawal symptoms. Wheat germ equals perfect poison. How many of us, I've ate wheat germ many years in my shakes because I thought it was a healthy thing. The lectins, the neurotoxins equal colitis problems. We talked about this last night, didn't we, Joanne? We talked about how wheat can affect colitis or IBS, things of this thing. Autoimmune and inflammatory diseases. Hashimoto's. Do y'all know what Hashimoto's is? It's a deficient thyroid. So basically, it's your thyroid just cannot function properly because the wheat gluten in it is stopping the function. It can also cause acid reflux, rheumatoid arthritis. Serious inflammatory conditions like arthritis can take months. It is a long-term effort, in other words, to get it out of your system. So don't give up once you go wheat-free or sugar-free because it's going to take months to get that out of your body. But we do have some products that I could recommend if anybody's interested in knowing about that. 5-HTP and L-glutamine help cravings. L-glutamine also heals the intestinal lining. That's something else I would recommend if you suffer with IBS or Crohn's disease or colitis is to get some L-glutamine. It also helps with the sugar cravings and it helps to heal the lining of the stomach. I also recommend L-carnitine to increase energy when detoxing from wheat, so that way you don't feel so tired. What we want to do today is I want to give you some options on how important it is for you to really think about how I can still eat healthy, have my sweet tooth fulfilled, but at the same time, make sure I'm eating fat-burning and not fat-inducing. And that's where this is all going to come in. The flours that I recommend instead of wheat products, let me talk about the wheat too just a little intensively. Back in 1950, there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Franken. And for those that really care to know more about what I'm talking about, I suggest you get this book. Dr. William Davis actually is a cardiologist, and he started putting all of his heart patients on a wheat-free diet, and he could not believe how phenomenal these people were doing. And then he started researching why it was affecting their bodies and what was happening, and then the research that he found was just phenomenal. So I really want y'all to, if y'all can, invest in this book, and he also now has a new book with it called the Wheat Belly Cookbook, which gives you a lot of some of the things I'm going to be talking about today. Another good book, before I go on, is Nutritious and Delicious by Maria Emmerich. She is awesome, and she is very creative in recipes and how to take this stuff and just create even lasagna. It's amazing. You know, it is amazing the things you can create. And then, of course, y'all have heard of the paleo diet. The paleo diet is also another really good alkaline type-based diet, and it's very healthy, and it does not induce fat or fat cells. Okay? So these are some books I recommend that you guys should, if y'all want to, y'all can get in and purchase those, and then you can go to Amazon.com and get all these books too. So, in 1950, there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Franken. For a longer name, I call him Dr. Frankenstein. He actually created a dwarf wheat, and in this dwarf wheat, the dwarf wheat was actually able to multiply a lot faster, and it was able to create a bigger crop of wheat, and they were able to feed the masses a lot faster and also make more money because there was more wheat products there, all right? But since that one wheat that has been changed, that one wheat seed that has been changed, they now have over 250 to 280,000 different types of wheat seeds. So what that is saying is that the wheat seed itself is not the same as what it was when God created wheat for us, all right? So just going back before 1950, that particular wheat was so much healthier for us than what it is currently now. So this is why it's very important for you guys to understand we really are eating breads that are just not healthy for our bodies, and it's causing a lot of diseases. Just look around, see how many people are sick. Why are we so sick? It's a lot of man-made, genetically modified stuff. It's a lot of things that are preservatives and packaged foods that we're putting into our body that just isn't healthy for us. All right. So I wanted to say that. Okay, so these are the flours that I recommend. Almond flour, and almond flour is actually just made from almonds. You can actually take almonds, raw almonds, put them in a Ninja or a food processor, and make your own almond flour. Now, because it's so reasonable for me to get my own almond flour from Trader Joe's, I have to go to Houston to get it, but I go to Houston to get several things. We usually buy several packets. It's only like $3.70 for this package of meal. If you get it at HEB, it's about $9 or $10. If you get it at a health food store, you're going to probably pay close to $11 or more. So Trader Joe's is about the best place that I've found to be able to get your almond flour. All right. Now, so you can either make it or do this. This is my main flour. From that point, I also use another flour. They must have really vacuum sealed this one really good. It's kind of wrinkled. It's peanut flour. So if you don't have nut allergies, these would be another source of flour that you can use. The other one I did bring with me is coconut flour. That's my third flour I use. So coconut flour, though, absorbs liquid in high dosage, so you don't use as much flour in coconut flour, and I can give you the formula for that if anybody's interested in coconut flour recipes, but it does not take as much, it takes more liquid with coconut, but it doesn't take as much flour. And it does have a coconutty taste, though. The other thing I use a lot is, well, this is my almond. I don't think I brought it with me today. Flaxseed. Oh, maybe I did. Is this my flaxseed, Rita? No. No, this is garbanzo beans. This is another one. You can actually make flour out of beans. So this is actually garbanzo flour, and make some really good healthy foods with your garbanzo. The other thing that I like to make is flaxseed wraps, and I don't see that I brought my flaxseed with me, but flaxseed wraps is a great way to make a tortilla wrap. Okay, so let's talk about what you can do that can be very, very healthy. What I did this morning is I created some of these, and they're shaped. These I have a silicone pan that's shaped in a heart. So I just made up my batter, and I'm going to share with you how to do that. These are called apple walnut muffins, and you can make up a whole bunch of these, put them in the freezer, or put them in your refrigerator. A great breakfast treat. And if you wanted to add a little egg to it, or some more protein source, a boiled egg or something, or even just a couple. Who says you got to eat breakfast food for breakfast? You could eat a chicken breast with it if you wanted to, okay, to get that protein in there. So these are some great things that I would recommend that you keep made up all the time, and you can take one basic recipe, and I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes, and turn it into a sweet recipe. This same recipe that we're about to talk about, this is basically none of the sweetness in it, but it does have, it's like a bread. So this would be my egg sandwich. I actually have some Applegate bacon in there. And Applegate bacon actually has no nitrates or no preservatives and stuff. You can get this at HEB. So you can make an egg or burger sandwich with this particular bread if you don't like lettuce burgers, because I eat a lot of lettuce burgers too. If I don't want bread, I just do a lettuce burger. But if you got to have bread, or your family's not quite I don't know about the spread thing. You could actually make some of this up and it's a healthier choice for them. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how we can take this one recipe, and let me just kind of show you how we're going to do this. Rita, I might need your assistance. Do you mind? So we can kind of have a smooth transition here. This is my oil that I use, coconut oil. It's all naturally organic, cold pressed, and you can get this at the health food store. I think H-E-B might carry this brand too, but you can get it at at the health food store called The Gift of Health. They're in Tasasita. So what we're going to do is, can I get you to melt about a tablespoon of oil? Yep. Or you can use this, whichever one you want to. It doesn't matter. Okay, so what she's going to do is she's taking a tablespoon of coconut oil. This is how you're going to make your 50-second breakfast muffin in the morning, okay? So when you are out of time and you need to make a breakfast muffin and you want to make that muffin, this is how you're going to do it real quickly. So 50 seconds on that. And it's going to warm up. You want to get it till liquefied. We're going to take 1 farm-grown egg, add that in there. We're going to do a ½ teaspoon of aluminum-free baking powder. You can find this at Walmart's, okay? Okay, so it's liquefied. So this is how easy this is early in the morning while you're talking to your kids around the breakfast table or something. Just take this. I'm just going to mix it up with the oil. We're going to put just a little sea salt. Just a dab, not a whole lot. Just a little sea salt. We're going to take a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. Thank you. I'm going to put that in there. Stir it up. And go, yeah, aluminum free. You don't want aluminum baking powder or baking powder with aluminum. You really want aluminum free because you want to make sure when you're cooking with baking powder that you do get aluminum free. And it's not that much more expensive. Just a few more cents. Then you take 1/4 of a cup of almond flour, put it in there. And once you know how to do all this, it goes really fast. At this point, you could also add 1 tablespoon of flaxseed if you want more fiber in your muffin. Okay. And usually if I do add the flaxseed oil, I have to add a little bit more, like a tablespoon of water, so that it doesn't get too dry. But this is perfect because I'm not adding any flaxseed this morning. And then what we're going to do from this point is we're going to spray another little cup. I don't think this microwave is as hot as the one at home, so it may take a full 1 minute. I usually do mine about 50 seconds in my microwave, but my microwave is so hot, so each microwave might be a little different.
Mine takes
a minute and a half of yours? Okay, so this one probably will too. Now, this was the basic recipe. So from here, if I wanted to make it a sweet muffin, I would add my sweetener, some cocoa. My sweetener would be the swerve or either the stevia, okay, to sweeten it. And then I would add, for the apple walnut muffins, some cinnamon, my walnuts, you know, and then just create my own little whatever flavor muffin I want. So it could be a chocolate brownie for breakfast. It could be, you guys smiled, didn't you? You like that one. It could be a chocolate brownie. It could be an apple walnut brownie. It can actually be one of these apple walnuts, little treats. And what you do with it is you make up a cream cheese. I spilled some vanilla flavoring on there, it looks like. Okay, so you can take one of these, and here's my icing, and all I did was take some cream cheese, a little bit of vanilla, and my Swerve sweetener that doesn't have any glycemic index at all, and then you can ice these just like this, make them really pretty. So now I got myself an iced sweet treat that's very yummy, all right? Then you can take, if you like coconut, sprinkle some coconut on it, sprinkle a few walnuts on it, you know, whatever topping you like on it, and then you have your strawberry, then you have your own little, so that way you don't feel so deprived. And we'll get to sample some of these in just a few minutes, okay? All right. How's it doing over there? Doing good? Okay, so this is how I get creative. Then I take that same basic almond flour, and if I want a hot dog, I'm going to eat a hot dog, and I'm going to put chili on it. But what I do is I put my flour here, just like I made up that mixture, cook it about halfway through, and then I get the Applegate grass-fed all-beef hot dogs and put one in here, put it back in the microwave, finish cooking it, and now when I take it out, it looks like a perfect little hot dog. Does that make sense? Because I'm going to put a little bit of that stuff on each side of this. And this is actually a granola maker from Tupperware. So you can find things like this at the dollar store and just create your own little designs. Have fun with it with your kids and stuff like that. I mean, it just makes it, okay, so here's your apple muffin, your bread muffin. So from this point, if I was going to do an egg sandwich, I take it out, flip it over, there's a knife there, kind of have to loosen it up on the edges there. I take it out and just flip it over, and then now I just cut it in half, and then I put my egg in there, my bacon in there, or hamburger patty, whatever you decide you want, and then that's your bread, all right? Healthy bread. The other thing is I even have a bread, this holds a sandwich, so like if I really want it to look like real bread, like a whole wheat bread, then I just put it in here. I just get creative, you know, just to play. So these are some of the tools I use to have fun. Trick my husband sometimes. He loves it though, to be honest with you. He really does. And the twins, that's all y'all eat now. Y'all know how to get real creative with it, don't y'all? So, and they make their own bread. They actually cook for their mother now, and all their creativiness and that stuff. So. Okay, so y'all have any questions about how you can take that basic recipe with chocolate, whatever your flavor is, and make your own muffin? And I'll send you the recipe. Yes, ma'am?
Can you make it a loaf? Does it store well? Made a loaf?
Does it store well after it's made? Yes, ma'am. You can even freeze it, so you can make a whole bunch up. I actually have a silicone pan that I made these out of. That's kind of like a rubbery type pan, and it has 6 hearts in it, and I just throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes at my house. I come back with all of these in just a matter of minutes. So I could feed a bunch of kids a snack real quick, you know. Yes, you can do it in a low pan. And what would be really good, I don't know if you've tried this yet or not, but carrot cake. Like take your carrots, your apples, whatever you want, spices, and make it a very nice carrot cake type thing. Put your icing on top of it, your cream cheese icing, and therefore now you've got a very low glycemic protein type piece of bread that you can have. So you can make it yourself. So it's really, 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 really good. Pizza. You can also do pizza with this. Take it, make it, cut it as thin as you want. You can make individual pizza. You can also make enough to put in the lining of a pan, pizza pan. Spray it really well, bake it, now you've got pizza bread. And then you put your salsa and stuff on top of that. So that's another thing. I also like to make, there's several pizza crusts I make. One of them is a cauliflower pizza crust, and then there's another one, help me get it out, cauliflower, and then, my egg pizza crust. You make it from eggs and mozzarella cheese, and it's lots of Italian seasoning, and it's really good. And you can actually make that into sandwich squares too if you like. So it's really good. Any other questions about how I do my breads before I go on? All right.
You can also,
Yes, absolutely.
you can also take the bread and put like Italian seasoning in it while you're cooking it if you want it to be like Italian, like garlic. So it just depends on what kind of flavor you're looking for. It's just that base recipe and you have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just experiment. That's how we've learned a lot of our recipes. Is I shared it with Rita, and I got all excited about it because I was able to create this bread, and then she's taken it, and her girls have taken it, and they just create all kind of things. So we just really.
We also make banana waffles out of it.
Yeah, it's really good. Pancakes, anything you want. Now, what do we use for syrup? I take like apples, chopped up apples, and put it in a pan with a little water. I put my stevia or this, whichever one's closest to me, and then I put a little sea salt, my cinnamon, apple pie mix, whatever. I put it in my pot and saute it till it becomes caramelized. Then once it becomes caramelized, then that's my syrup. And then I just pour it on top of the pancakes that we just created. You can also do the same thing with strawberries. You cook it till it becomes like a strawberry preserve type thing, and then you have fresh strawberries turned into a syrup. Now last night I looked for maple flavoring, like vanilla flavoring, but I could not find it. So you can also make maple syrup the same way, you know, so you can do that. That way you're not getting all those high sugary things. So. All right. Another thing that I use for chocolate is Keiko. How many of y'all ever use Keiko? Keiko is a healthier version of chocolate. It's like little chocolate niblets as I call them, and you can put them inside there with your chocolate stuff and make like a little chocolate chip brownie or chocolate chip whatever, you know. So I'm telling you guys, you can get your treats without feeling deprived, and it only takes just a few minutes. I'm going to interject a product right here. This product is called green coffee bean from Genesis Pure. It's one of the highest formulas of coffee bean out there, 900 milligrams with biopurine. This actually blocks 70% of carbs and sugar coming into your body. So if you know you're going to have a date night or you're going to go to a party, I would suggest you get something like this and take it during the day. You can take up to 2 a day on the green coffee bean, and that will help block the sugars and the carbs. Another thing that helps to control your appetite is called healthy trim control. This has lipotropics in it. Lipotropics actually go to the fatty liver and pull that extra fat off the liver and turn it into energy so that you're actually able to clean the liver up and start burning your fuel efficiently. So that would be another thing. If you got that belly fat around the belly, I'm going to recommend Mumuño Edge. The reason for this helps to take the adrenaline stress of the cortisol off the adrenal glands, and this helps with stress. And take 1 a night, up to 2 a night, just to help you chill out, release the cortisol, and start feeling better about your body. All right, ma'am. Mumuño Edge. Yeah, it's M-O-O. I have a hard time. M-O-O-M-Y-M-I-Y-O. Mumuño Edge. All these products are by Genesis Pure. I have never found such good quality products as I found until I found Genesis Pure. I really highly recommend them. Okay, another breakfast option. I made these last night, so some of the strawberries are getting kind of watery in here. But doesn't that look pretty? What this is Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, which has 23 grams of protein per cup. And to make it taste sweet and good, I put a serving of my vanilla protein shake in the Greek yogurt and stirred it. So now it has the sweet vanilla-y taste. You know, have you ever tried Greek yogurt by itself? It's like, kind of plain. So this helps it to taste better, all right? So, and then you're getting extra protein, and you're also getting other digestive enzymes and a lot of great things that are coming out of your protein powder here. As a matter of fact, with our treats that I cooked today, I actually put a scoop of vanilla in this also. So this also has strawberries and chopped walnuts, so that's my granola, and a little bit of cranberries, dried cranberries is what I put. So this would make a great breakfast or nighttime dessert, before you go to bed, because there's nothing in here that's going to store fat. It's all high fiber strawberries, high protein Greek yogurt, and everything in here is healthy fats from the walnuts. So this is everything. Now, if you're dairy sensitive, you may not be able to do the Greek yogurt, so you pay attention to what you know about your body. Okay. How am I doing so far? Am I giving y'all some good information? Okay, I don't want to bore y'all. Okay. I found these yesterday, and I just want to share these with you. I ate the whole bag by myself because they were so good. They're called beanitos, and everybody's always saying, what can I eat crunchy? What can I do for something chippy when I want that chippy craving, okay? This is a chipotle barbecue flavor. It is pretty strong on the flavoring, but I loved it. I love that kind of flavor. And this actually has 18 grams of carbs in it, but it has 6 grams of fiber. So basically it's only 12 grams of carbs, and it's 6 grams of protein, and it's 175 calories for the whole bag. And everything in here in the ingredients list is all whole, natural, organic. There's no other chemicals that I don't like or my brother-in-law wouldn't approve of. And it's corn-free and gluten-free. So these are some of the things, and you can get this, I was at the Gift of Health in Atascocita, across from HEB, right there next to, what's that next to? 24-hour fitness club. So, it's called the Gift of Health, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so I got those there. So if you guys are having a chip craving, I would recommend something like that. Let's talk about pasta. How do we get pasta? It's like, pasta, I can't have my pasta. And I'm like, yes, you can. Spaghetti squash. Cut it in half. Take the seeds out of it. You can cook it one or two ways. Rita did it one way, I did it another way, and they both work. But I took a Pyrex dish, cut it in half, take the seeds out, put a little bit of water in the bottom of it, put my olive oil, my Italian seasonings, my garlic, a little bit of sea salt, put it face down, covered it with, I have one that, if they're not too big, I can put the lid on top of the Pyrex dish, or either cover it in saran wrap, put it in the microwave, and you need to cook it for about 15 to 20 minutes. How you know the spaghetti squash is done is you stick a fork in the peel, and if it goes all the way through without having to really stab it, then it's done. If you have to really penetrate it, it's hard to go through, then you need to put it back in there for another 4 or 5 minutes until it gets tender on the outside. Once it's tender, then you pull it out, and once it's done, and then you just stand it up, take a fork, and just strip it, and it falls out just like spaghetti. So it looks just like a spaghetti. So it's good and tricking the mind to think you're having a bowl of spaghetti with your sauce and your meat sauce. So a great way to get spaghetti. Now Rita, all she did was cut it in half, clean it, poked holes in the actual peeling, and then she put it in the microwave without a lid or anything and cooked it for about 20 minutes, and it was done. And then she added her seasonings after she got through doing all that. So either way you choose to do it, I've always done it with water, but she did it the other day without it, and it turned out just fine. So you can do it that way too. Okay, Rita, you want to come back up here and help me? You sit down on me. My little twin sister here. Everybody thinks we're twins. We've been stopped in the airport many times. Are y'all twins? And then it really freaks them out when they'll say, who's the oldest? And we'll say, guess. And that's not very nice, is it? Most of the time I'll speak up and say, I'm the oldest. That way they don't have to guess. Okay, another great treat, if you can open up, if you can help me open up that Tupperware thing. Because I do want to make these for them to come up and tab if they want them. I get all natural. This is HEB brand. No nitrates, no preservatives, no chemicals. Remember this, if it's plant-made, it ain't right. Put it back. If it's God-made, El Natural, without any of the other stuff in it, God intended for you to eat that, okay? So really, really be careful, very selective of your, oh man, that smells good, smell it. Doesn't that smell good? Okay. This is roast beef. So a lot of times what you can do, like if you're trying to make up your snacks for the day, or even for your kids when they come home from school, if you'll have your vegetables already pre-cooked or cut up, and that is avocado, and avocado turns a little brown, so you know how avocado is, so it's still good. Have you ever combined apples and cabbage together? Apples and cabbage is really good on a piece of sandwich meat. So what I'm going to do is I call them little taco roll-ups, my little healthy tacos. So combination would be take a little bit of cabbage, shredded cabbage, put it in the middle of my roast beef, put a couple slices of apples, chopped apples, and then I would just take it and I would just roll it. Okay? And then you can put a toothpick in it or whatever you want. You can cut them in half, however, but that would be one of my little afternoon, I'd probably eat 2 or 3 of those for an afternoon snack. You know what I'm saying? Or your dinner. Okay, so I would take bell peppers, some onions, just a little bit of avocado, put it on my chicken, put a strip of onion, my bell pepper, whatever else you might want to put on there, whatever combination you like. If you want tomatoes, you can go ahead and put a tomato on there. And now I've got myself another little taco wrap. So how about a cucumber, Rita? How's that sound? Sound good? How about a tomato? It smells good, don't it? Making me hungry. How about an onion? Maybe a little avocado. Come on, get on there. Y'all know avocado is a very healthy fat. It also is very high in fiber and very, very yummy for you. So I'm just going to split up my little onion here. And then again, I got myself a little different type of taco roll. The sky is the limit. These are good party favorite things too. Of course, you want to get probably a little prettier than I'm doing right now, but it makes a great little treat. Are y'all getting the idea? How you can do that? So just cut up your fresh vegetables during the week, plan, and have things ready to go, and you guys will be more successful. And that's what it's all about. Also, too, I forgot cheese. You could sprinkle a little bit of mozzarella cheese on it if you're a cheese person. So later, if you guys want to come up here and make you one of these or eat one of these, feel free. Grab you one of these muffins. I really want y'all to come up and sample anything you want to sample. But no double dipping, please. No double dipping. Okay, do we have any questions so far? Y'all doing okay? All right, so let's go back over what our plate looks like. I bet Rita, oh yeah, let me just tell you about these two. These are wheat-free. They are gluten-free, but you still have to be careful as far as if you're trying to lose weight on how many of these you eat. They are absolutely wonderful. Feel free, this one's the black pepper brand. They also have a plain herbal one. Feel free to come up and get one of these. This is called Mary's Gone Crackers. And so this would be a cracker that I would suggest that you could actually eat on your alkaline diet too. All right? So I'm going to be sure to get that. Okay, so I'll leave these on in case I need to help somebody do some stuff over here. So what we want to talk about next is a portion plate. So 3 times a day, I want to eat a 9-inch, not plate, but I want my plate to be 9 inches, so about this big, and I want to cut it in half. So that first half of that section is going to be all my vegetables. Then on the other little 2/3 on the bottom half is going to be my protein source. Then on a little bit over here, a little bitty wedge over here on the 3rd section is going to be my complex carb. So what is a complex carb? We all know what proteins and vegetables are, right? So a complex carb is not going to be bread or pasta unless we're having it in this form, but that's really considered a vegetable. But it would be an apple, it could be your strawberries, It could be quinoa. It could be bulgur. It could be wild rice. Those will be your healthier alternatives, but in much smaller portions. I'm talking, do y'all realize a serving of wild rice is only a half a cup? How much rice do we normally put on our plate? A whole bunch, all right? When you think about pasta, how much pasta do you put on that plate? It's usually the whole plate is full of pasta, a little bit of sauce, but it's more, and it should be the opposite. It's only 3/4 of a cup of spaghetti. So if you took a cup, do we have a measuring cup here, Rita? Somewhere? Okay, if we don't, it's fine. This is about a cup. If you took a cup, say this is a cup, 3/4 of it would be your spaghetti. And that would be all that you're supposed to have for a serving. Now, how many of us do way more than that? I know I've been guilty of it. Not anymore, but I've been guilty of it. All right. Another thing I want to talk to you about is actually, can I get my frozen strawberries, please? I love protein shakes. Rita, can you cut that avocado in half for me, please? So good. It smells like vanilla cake mix.
Do you like that one better than the J-Rock?
I do like this one better. It's tastier, and actually, the other day I mixed it with some peanut butter and some coconut oil and a few walnuts, and it tasted just like cookie dough. Very good. So if you like raw cookie dough, that's why you get raw cookie dough. Okay, so in here, I'm going to put this. Now, J-Rob is still a good shake, and it's also good for the HCG diet. That's one you need to stay on. This one has protein in it. So, I mean, not protein. Genetically modified free soy protein in it. So you wouldn't want to get that. Not right now. Oh, these are frozen. The church's freezer is excellent. Okay, so I'm going to use almond milk. This is the almond coconut milk. I like these packages because their shelf life is humongous. This will last me until January 23, 2014. So what a great way to have milk without it expiring on you. And it doesn't have all the chemicals in it as other milk does. So this is really good. So shake that. And you're going to put about a cup of milk in here. I'll make it go up just a little bit higher because of my frozen berries. I put about, measuring on here, a cup and a half. Okay, Rita, we're going to put a scoop of, go ahead and get your avocado. Have you ever thought about putting avocado in your shake? Yeah. Yep. It makes it so creamy and so delicious. So it's a healthy fat, and it also has extra fiber in it. And you're getting 10 grams of fiber with 1 scoop of this, and you're supposed to eat 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. So just in one of these shakes with the avocado in it, you're getting right at 15 to 18 grams of fiber. So if you started your day with this, and maybe had 1 side salad, you pretty much so have your fiber for the day. This is pretty loud, so bear with me. It's a real yummy, thick, creamy shake. I love my Ninja. Does anybody have a Ninja? It just tears them up, don't it? Oh, Lordy. Rita, this looks, I think I'm going to eat this one. It looks good. See how nice and thick and creamy that is? These blades look dangerous. Ninja blades. And what's so beautiful, you don't even see the green avocado. It's just all nice, creamy. Anybody want to taste it? Feel free to come up and get it. You want one, Rita? Y'all don't just all come running at one time. But this is, you come on up there. This is really a great way to get your fiber, your cleansing agents, and whatever else you might need. Now, sometimes, depending on how sweet I like it or how unsweet the berries are, I will add a little bit of stevia in it, just to make sure I get the sweet taste like I want. So anybody got any feedback? What do you think so far? Is it yummy? Is it good? Real good. I heard that real good. Awesome. There you go, Josh, our cameraman. Yay! Josh has been on the transformation program, and his first week he dropped like 6 pounds. I'm like, whoa. So he's done very well. Okay. So we talked about different breakfast ideas, and actually my shake, sometimes after my workouts, instead of eating a heavy supper, I will just make one of these. And then that way I can go straight to bed, my body's not overly full, and it's nurturing my muscles, and I'm getting the protein that I need. So what's really suggested is after 3 o'clock that you stay away from all carbs, even fruit. Eat vegetables and protein, and then go to bed with just vegetables and protein. Somebody the other day said, it might have been Joanne I was talking to, how late is too late to eat? You know, the rules out there are usually 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you know, things of that nature. But we live in an imperfect world where we work sometimes to 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So, then if you're involved in exercise classes or things, it's 8 o'clock, 8:30 before you get home. And then if you take your shower, you go to bed, it's 10 or 10:30, and then you're like, I'm famished, I'm starving, you know, I need something to eat, but what can I eat? Anytime you eat protein feeds the muscles. It does not feed your fat stores. So know that protein is okay. So something like this would be really, really good. Anytime you eat vegetables, 1 cup of spinach is only 10 calories. So anytime you eat vegetables, strips of chicken, make a little small salad with some protein in it, or have something like this, that's actually going to help nurture your body, because you're now giving your muscles the aminos that it needs, and if you're eating vegetables, then you're also giving it the vegetables that it needs for the phytonutrients. So does that make sense? But what you don't want to do at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night is eat a big plate of pasta. You don't want to eat a big old sandwich or Subway sandwich. Those are the things you don't want to do, because now your body is doing what? It's fat storing. So if you're fat storing, you're actually gaining weight during the night. Got it? All right, any questions out there?